Welcome to Sports from the Couch.
I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
With your host, Mike Mercado.
Players cannot stand him. Coaches cannot stand him. Most importantly, the fans can't stand him.
Brought to you by Mercado Airwaves.
I'm gonna say it once, and hopefully I'm wrong, but it's a disaster waiting to happen.
That is so bad, that is absolutely brutal.
Hello and welcome into another edition of Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. It is Monday, December 28th, 2020, and I hope each and every one of you had a wonderful holiday season as we get ready to bring in the new year. But before we do that, we have ourselves a heavyweight matchup, or at least a heavyweight matchup when it comes to the implications that happen when the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears meet up at Soldier Field this coming Sunday to end the season. Win and you're in for the Chicago Bears. Aaron Rodgers has a chance to solidify himself as the MVP of the season. Perhaps home field advantage will be on the line for Green Bay. So many stories, so many emotions, so many things to get into. We even got to get into this blowout that was a Bears-Jaguars matchup. But before we get to all that, let's take care of some housekeeping notes. You can follow me all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media, and the show is on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. Like, rate, review, and shares wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home to our interviews with athletes and celebrities that you could get ad-free and before anybody else. That's patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have swag. Start your 2021 year off right with some good old Mercado Airwaves merchandise. That's at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves, a network. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves. And of course, keep up to date with everything we're doing on the podcast network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves.
The Trubisky.
Ryan Nall is in the background, in the backfield now. The pass over the middle, touchdown. That's Graham on the receiving end. On a field goal previously. This is 2nd and 2. Trubisky on the move, gonna keep it to the end zone for the touchdown.
He's got a good feel for the quarterback, who he is and what he likes and what he does well.
On 1st and goal, Montgomery gets the call and gets the touchdown.
That will be in that draft class. It's just, I think, the experience, the big game experience, and just how consistent he has been.
That pass is intercepted. Picked off by Roquan Smith. Threatening again. Inside the 25-yard line at 2nd and 7. Trubisky steps up, throws for the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown, Jimmy Graham. Pierce, left side, walks into the end zone.
Well, friends, the Chicago Bears have found a way to make the last game of the season mean something after they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 41-17, moving their record to 8-7. While the Arizona Cardinals lose their game against San Francisco on Saturday, moving their record to 8-7, and now the Bears hold their destiny, their playoff livelihood, the chance for the organization to keep everybody for everyone to have a job heading into the 2021 season comes down to this Sunday at 3:25 at Soldier Field as the Chicago Bears will now take on the Green Bay Packers. And this has everything it makes to break every single Bears heart. But before we get too deep into that conversation, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this matchup between the Jaguars and the Bears and how the Bears found a way to win a game that they needed to win. And in today's NFL, and especially after this past weekend, it's easier said than done to win the game you're supposed to. So what we always talk about here on Sports from the Couch is that's the definition of a good team. Win the games you're supposed to. Whether it's beautiful, whether it's ugly, like Kansas City. If you look at the margin of error with the Kansas City Chiefs, a lot of their games are a lot closer than, let's say, a lot of blowout games that you would expect with that type of offense. And that does build character. That does make you a stronger team. That does harden the shell. But with that being said, like, you expect certain teams to win certain games when it's appropriate. And this was one of those moments. I want to give some, let's look at these numbers. You guys know how I feel about the analytics when it comes to the stat line, but people are interested in it. We're in the fantasy finals. I hope you guys are all being very lucky in that sense. But Mitch goes 24-35, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. We'll talk about Mitch for right now. Mitch had a good game. Mitch did have a good game. The biggest problem Mitch had is he made a stupid mistake again. And not just a stupid mistake. And stupid's a hard word, but it is when you're in the red zone and you're throwing interceptions on first down when you don't need to. You know, the game wasn't on the line. And I'm rooting for Mitch. I want to be proven wrong when it comes to Mitch Trubisky. I want him to be the best version of himself. I want him to win a lot of games. I want him to make money. Because if he makes a lot of money, that means this Bears team is good. That means you as a fan is having a good time. That means myself as a broadcaster, somebody who covers the team, has a lot to talk about. And is entertaining to talk about. And with Mitch right now, the real question is, what's going to happen when the game is on the line and you have the big moment, the big shine moment to have in your career, to have yourself defined in that level like some of these other guys, your contemporaries. Obviously, you're never going to match Patrick Mahomes, but you can at least be in the conversation and being like, yeah, you know, he's a guy. He's going to be around for a while. And it's good to see you do that against the Jaguars and some of these other teams. But you can't make these dumb mistakes. And throwing that red zone interception was a dumb mistake. What else we got here? Obviously, we got to talk about our boy David Montgomery. And this is one of the big talking points I wanted to hit on right away. Was why aren't the Bears just feeding this dude? 23 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Look it. I get it. A lot of it was the offensive line play. And you got to give credit to this coaching staff for kind of just bubblegumming and rubber banding a good offensive line the last 5 weeks, right? And this running game has been so much better the last few weeks. And it does change the offense, but a lot of it too is you have catered the offense towards Mitch Trubisky now. And that makes defenses have to be honest. Because when you're seeing Jimmy Graham, who's having himself a season, having 4 catches, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns, Allen Robinson, 10 catches, 103 yards, Darnell Mooney is a player, Cole Kmet is getting some run out there. When you're getting Montgomery, who's able to make some run with the ball, you don't have Tariq Cohen. You know, there is things to like about this offense when it's running right. This is the question that I have about this offense. And it goes into the next point of like, you got to run the ball. Why aren't you running it more than we want to? What did it take so long? This team is playing against bad defenses. And the truth of the matter is, in the NFL, most defenses aren't very good. They're good week to week. They're good game to game. Maybe they're good for a little stretch here and there, but the consistency is just that. It's long-term. There are going to be days where your top 5 defense has a top 16 performance, or a bottom 16, if you will. The question with this offense, can they keep you in a game? Can they keep the defense on their heels? Can this offense keep the defense honest for 60 minutes? I'm not sure if that's going to be the case heading into the playoffs if they get that far. Because guess what? The playoffs have been essentially happening for the Bears for a long time. But knowing what they have on the offensive side, you have to wonder, what is the cause and correlation of the success from the opponents? And should there be more success? Should it be cleaner? There's a lot of things that we can nitpick, if you will, for the performances they've had the last few weeks, but they've come in W's. and a lot of points and a lot of spurts. I don't know if you feel comfortable, though, that this offense is going to ball out against a top-tier defense. Now, it's also on the Bears matchup that the onus is on the defense. Now, while the offense can be a hot mess, all it takes is one broken play, and a game is broken open. And this Bears team does have weapons, like we mentioned. The biggest question mark is the quarterback, which completely derails everything. But there's a lot that has to go into the thought process when you're thinking of this matchup that's coming up this Sunday with the Green Bay Packers, who I don't think have a good defense. But it's a big-time matchup. And you're going to have all the pressure. And it's all about this one-game scenario. So can your offense live up to what it's been doing, not get distracted, not get bogged down by the moment, and play like they've been doing against bad defenses? Because this isn't a good defense. So can you put points up in your own house? How much is it that you're just feasting on the bottom feeders in your league? Because a lot of teams score in the NFL, but it's scoring when you need to, when it's most important, like the Kansas City Chiefs do, that make you a playoff team. They make you a championship team. I don't think this Bears team is that. But if they want to make things interesting, they're going to have to play against an adequate defense and put up points. Not just against teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not like teams like the Minnesota Vikings. And we get to this moment that I know a lot of people don't want to have this conversation. And with the Bears winning a bunch of games and getting themselves into certain positions, I also understand why it's a conversation that's been buried a little bit. This is the moment, guys. We've been talking about it. We hear the guys chirping every single game on social media when they're doing their radio appearances. God bless them. But it is time now, defense. They invested in you. The entire regime, the entire organization has been put on your shoulders, rightfully or wrongfully. Doesn't matter. They made that choice. They paid you guys. It's up to you now. This is the game. This is the moment. This is the matchup. This is where you earn that contract and solidify yourself as a top-tier defense. Khalil Mack's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, period. But he has taken a step back, at least nationally. You don't hear him get the same adulance that some of these other guys do. Akeem Hicks has always been underrated. Roquan Smith, Robert Quinn, Eddie Jackson. There's a bunch of guys. Kyle Fuller. We could go down and down the list. The fact remains, there's been so many games, not just this year, but last year, where this defense has let down this team. Now, it is unfair to single them out because they have never been able to get bailed out. But here is the moment. This is the one game. It's all on the line. You have 4 quarters to show why some of these guys on this side that have been invested with money and draft capital can stop Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback in the league, if not the best, the second best quarterback in the league. The best receiver in the league, Devontae Adams. What happens when this matchup is going to decide whether your coach, your GM, your quarterback have a job next year? Depends on what happens with this organization. Is this win or a loss against your division rival that has been a pain in your ass for 15 years, whether you're organizationally speaking or as a fan? This is the moment where your superstars need to be superstars. Look, at the Green Bay Packers, I don't think have a good defense. So how do they win games? Their superstars make plays. From their tight end to the receiver to the running back to the man who has the ball and has won an MVP, a Super Bowl, and is the baddest dude when it comes to that field in Aaron Rodgers. The guys who are supposed to make the plays do it. Guess what? On this Bears team, that's the defense. It's not David Montgomery, who's been balling out the last few weeks. That is not what's asked of him. Not of Jimmy Graham with 8 touchdowns this year. Not Allen Robinson, over 1,000 yards receiving, 100 catches. Not even Mitch Trubisky, the second overall pick, ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. It's on the team, on that side of the field, for the Chicago Bears that have had all the investment, all the belief put on them, and that's the defense. The defense must win this game. It's not just going to be an Allen Robinson huge play that wins this game. It's not going to be just David Montgomery breaking out and having an 80-yard run. It'll be Khalil Mack having a huge sack on Aaron Rodgers, or Akeem Hicks stripping the ball, or the secondary coming up with a pick and taking it to the house. You want to be about it? You want to make us believe? You want to make me eat crow? You want to prove to stupid me, unachievable me, done nothing like you guys have done me and the fan base that hasn't believed? This is that moment. Will they show up to it? I don't know. That's going to be the beauty of when they meet in the lakefront in Chicago. But this is it. This is if you're in the movie and you were set up like the Karate Kid and across from you is Cobra Kai, this is the moment you've been waiting for if you're the defense. People have been talking you down. People saying you don't got it anymore. The season was over 4 weeks ago. And now, if you play one of the best games that this defense has ever played, you can take this team to the playoffs. You can beat the biggest rival in all of sports. And you could change the narrative of this entire season. Good or bad, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, that's what's on the line. That's for the defense. For Mitch, it's a contract. It's being franchised. It's getting an opportunity to keep a job in this league. There's only so many spots. Mitch is playing for one of those. He's going to be matched up against, even though I don't think Green Bay is that good of a defense that will take the ball away from you, that will embarrass you if you give them the opportunity. And Mitch Trubisky, too many times, too often, will give a team that chance. But if he's about it, just like the defense, and if he trusts these weapons that are good, he can make a name for himself. He can earn that contract. He can prove everybody wrong. If that's not motivation enough, let alone just being in the NFL, if that isn't motivation enough, you don't want this guy. And God bless him, let him make money somewhere else. Let somebody pay him, because somebody will. Somebody will. Personally, I don't think I've seen anything that makes me think that he is still the future of your team and that you were good. You were better off not drafting Deshaun or Patrick. Yeah. No. That will never exist. But he has played well. He has earned a way to maybe get a contract somewhere. Maybe even a franchise tag if he leads this team to the playoffs. But it's in his hands. That's the only thing you can ask for as anybody in any career field, is to have your destiny in your own hands. That's what this defense has. That's what Mitch has. So we get to the moment, though. What if they win? All this winning right now, is it bad? Winning is never bad. Just because I think they need a change from ownership down to the GM to the coach to quarterback, yes. Down to the field. Yes, you are correct. That doesn't mean that winning is bad. Winning is never bad. And here's the thing, right? It's the NFL. Crazier things have happened. So I know it's not crazy that the Bears get into the playoffs and win the whole damn thing. It's the NFL. Crazier things have happened. So winning isn't bad. But do I have to like it? No. Do I have to kind of eat crow when it happens? Sure. But it has been fun. There have been moments that have raised your eyebrows and be like, okay, well, maybe. And then you turn on the rest of the league. You watch Red Zone. You're like, well, reality sets back in. But I do see how it's complicated for a lot of Bears fans, for a lot of fans in general and all over the NFL, in all different types of sports. You know, here in Chicago with the Bulls, there was a lot of hope. But at the end of it, it's still the same roster and you're still looking to the future. Is winning bad? How bad is losing? So much of that goes into the point. But in this moment in the NFL where anything can happen, whether you're a believer or not, at this point you might as well have been all in. So if you were somebody like me who was ready to blow this whole thing up, still kind of ready to do that, you might as well be all in and have your heart broken, or at least be ready to be broken one last time. Because in the NFL, crazy things happen, stranger things have happened, and you got to bite at the apple. That's all you can ask for. That's all anybody asks for in the National Football League. So with that bite at the apple, how are you going to be able to get to that point? How do you get to the table? How are you invited to this exclusive dinner? It's beating the Green Bay Packers. Full circle. This is a team that embarrassed you. This is a team that was part of that catalyst of that 2-week span between Detroit and Green Bay, that everybody was going to lose their job. You're going against the baddest dude in the planet, maybe the best player in the NFL, at least this season. It's always a toss-up between him and Patrick Mahomes the last few years. At Soldier Field, you've made this comeback. He's playing for an MVP. They're playing for home field advantage. I mean, it doesn't get any more fairy tale storytelling than this. Hollywood couldn't write it any better. And we know what happened the last time this matchup, this type of scenario happened. Every Bears heart was broken with one broken play that led to a touchdown. Will that happen this week? I don't know. Will it be a blowout game? I doubt it. It's going to be stress-inducing. It's going to be close. I think it's like the election. Don't look for all the other ways you could win and get to the White House. There's one easy road to getting to the NFC playoffs, to being that 7th seed, and that's beating the Green Bay Packers by keeping Aaron Rodgers contained for just one game. Because in the playoffs, anything can happen, as we've said 1,000 times, but it's the truest thing in sports. And you have one opportunity to do it. It's all on the line. It's your greatest rival, one of the greatest rivalry in sports, and the craziest seasons in sports. You have earned the right to play one last game that means something. Everything is on the lines. All eyes will be on you. The national broadcast will be in your home stadium. Everybody will be talking about this game on Monday if you win. If you lose, there's no guarantee that there's a tomorrow if you're Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, or Mitchell Trubisky. So what do? You go out there and you win. We'll find out what this Bears team is made of. Maybe they change their minds. Maybe they go out there. Maybe Green Bay is all at full strength and the Bears win a good game. Maybe they show up and trickle down their pants. At the end of it, I do give the Bears credit. They made it interesting and they made us care up until the last week of the season. So, with that in mind, on Sunday, it all comes to a head. The Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers. Mitchell Trubisky, all eyes on him. The defense, a moment to shine against arguably the NFL MVP of this season and maybe the greatest quarterback of all time in Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field. It's going to be a hell of a game, and of course, 2020 would come down to facing our boy Aaron Rodgers one last time. Or I guess in this case, to start 2021 would be to go against that guy. Only the Bears will have to go all through of 2020, and 2021 starts with a matchup against Aaron Rodgers with everything on the line. Oh, it's been a crazy season, but we're here for it, friends, and hopefully you guys are here for more of our craziness here on Sports from the Couch, here on Mercado Airwaves. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think about the Bears past few weeks, and what are you feeling heading into this huge matchup to end the season against the Green Bay Packers? Do the Bears win? Do the Packers win? Are the Bears destined for the playoffs? Are the Bears destined for cleaning out the house in the organization? Let me know on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram Mike Mercado Media, and of course, we're on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. That'll do it for us on this edition of Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. You can follow me all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram Mike Mercado Media, and the show is on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. Like, rate, review, and shares wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home to our interviews with athletes and celebrities that you could get ad-free and before anybody else. That's patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have swag. Start your 2021 year off right with some good old Mercado Airwaves merchandise. That's at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves, a network. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves. And of course, keep up to date with everything we're doing on the podcast network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Have a happy and safe New Year. Please don't drink and drive. Enjoy all the games. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you in 2021 here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.